Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Today we're going to talk about things that we miss from the United States.
We get asked this question a lot, at least I do, from friends and family. What do we miss?
Right. So it's just important to note a couple things. Many of these items took some time for us to recall, so it's not like not all of them we're thinking about all the time necessarily. And we lived for many, many years in the Madison, Wisconsin area, so a lot of this is just kind of nostalgia,
Right.
if nothing else.
Right.
And we would miss it no matter where we moved to. So
Exactly. So we've kind of divided this into 4 sections. We have stuff, food, activities, and people.
Yep.
So I think we'll just jump right in.
Yeah.
We'll start with stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things that is important to us, both superficially and importantly because of work, is easy access to reliable and fast internet. So while there is fast internet, you can find it here in Peru, and it is reasonable. When you leave your house, that isn't necessarily the case all the time.
Yeah.
And so
We kind of documented our internet finding journey, and it's still something we kind of struggle with, but I'll link that vlog in the description box below.
Yep. And somewhat related to that is Amazon.
Oh man.
So when it comes to finding not only books, we love books so much as many of you know, but almost anything else. Almost anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can order a couch on Amazon without leaving your house, and it's delivered in like 2 days. You don't have to leave your house at all.
And relatively cheaply delivered as well.
Right.
If you want to get anything down here that isn't easy to find in Peru, it's really difficult, or it can be expensive.
Right.
Which is why we brought down so many of our things, just knowing that things would be kind of difficult to get a hold of again.
Yeah.
So.
And books is a big one.
It's huge.
When we lived in the Madison area, we shopped at Half Price Books a lot.
I miss Half Price so much.
Any used bookstore really is what I miss a lot.
Right.
So that's a big one for me.
Yep, absolutely. So, and then just a couple funny ones. Like, I miss the strong social norms for following road rules or standing in lines. That was something I kind of miss.
Yeah.
And also from another perspective, clean streets and parks without litter in it. That was really important to me as well. And it was something I didn't even fully realize until coming down to Latin America. So.
Yeah, and I certainly miss being the benefactor of years of improvement in gender equality. Mm-hmm. So that's just something to be noted.
Yep. And a few other funny ones. Actually, you probably want to talk about this.
So I miss, and again, this is more of nostalgia because it's nothing I need, and I don't think about it super frequently, but I miss a lot of small businesses in the Madison area. So, for example, I loved going to the soap opera and community pharmacy just to see what they had.
Sure.
Little Luxuries is a shop downtown that you need everything in there, but you never knew you needed it until you went in there and saw it. And Bernie's Rock Shop, which was right in our neighborhood, and so cool. So I'll put any links to these stores just because I think they're awesome, and they're small local businesses that should be supported.
Yep. And one of the things that I actually do miss a lot is the fall season. So colors changing, the trees, that kind of cooler temperature. You got to wrap up on a sweater and a jacket.
The smell of leaves.
Kind of like damp fall days. For some reason, that is easily my favorite time of year.
On a side note, that's also like my favorite way to dress.
Right.
Like with knee-high boots and leggings and sweaters. And, so I agree with you.
Yeah, so we don't have seasons here in Arequipa, really. I mean,
which is fine.
And I don't miss winter, like, at all. So I think, if I was to take it all together. But that's something I miss is fall.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the food category.
Everyone loves food.
And something I miss frequently, and this is something I actually do think about semi-periodically, is easy access to a wide variety of vegetarian food.
Right.
So it's certainly available here, and we have our favorite places that we go to for restaurants.
And it's growing.
It's growing. It's becoming more popular. And you can get, meat substitutes in the grocery store and at restaurants, but it's certainly much more available in the States at restaurants and in the grocery store.
Right, and especially Madison. I mean, Madison's
Yeah.
got a lot of vegetarian-friendly
Yeah.
joints, so.
So that's something I think about a lot. And then also, Clint thinks I'm silly, but
Kinda, yeah.
but I miss proper tea. So I am a big tea lover, and there's just so many different types and brands available in the States. Like, for instance, I would kill for a proper cup of Earl Grey. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't find that here. Although, that being said, the coffee here is much better. So it's like
Yeah.
a trade-off. You get really good coffee in Peru, but not the greatest selection of tea.
Right, and I'm not a coffee drinker at all, so and I don't mind the tea selection down here. It's okay.
No, they have some good things
Right.
here that you can't get in the States,
Right.
tea-wise.
Right.
But there are just certain types of tea that I miss.
Right. Kind of a funny one for me, and just really random. And maybe it comes by a different name down here, and we just haven't found it yet. But jasmine rice, I really love jasmine rice. Another problem with us is, the situation with our ability to cook rice is rather limited, so we can't really have rice right now. Or we can, but it's more difficult. But anyway, I haven't found jasmine rice or its Peruvian equivalent, and so I'm still looking for that. But that's one thing I really miss.
Yeah. Another thing that we kind of lament on every once in a while.
Every once in a while, more like frequently.
Yeah. We miss what we think of as proper cafes. So for instance, if you're in Madison, you can go to JPH on Johnson Street,
Right.
you can go to Colectivo, you
Right.
can go to Barriques, and you have amazing coffee, great tea, food selections.
Right.
But you also have a really quiet place to work.
Right. So all the cafes here, we haven't encountered a situation where this is not the case.
Mm-hmm.
All the cafes are blasting pop music.
Or any kind of music.
It's super distracting. I'm the crazy one. I like to have quiet when I'm studying or working. And so I just can't do it in these cafes. Every single one of them is blasting like some Lady Gaga hit from 2 years ago. It just drives me nuts.
And also, almost every cafe that you go to in the States has fairly quick internet.
Right.
And here it's kind of hit or miss.
Right. We've seen some where like we can't even work. It doesn't even work that well, so it's a problem.
So that's a bit of a struggle sometimes.
Yeah. But when it comes to just straight up restaurants, there's a couple I miss. I mean, Peruvian food is fantastic, and I don't have any problem.
And there's a lot of variety too.
It's
like
huge.
you can get all different kinds of food from all over the world here.
Right.
But these are our restaurants, again, because we lived in Madison so long, that are kind of like near and dear to our heart.
Right. So sourdough on
Madison
Willie Street.
sourdough, yeah.
Oh man, some of their breakfasts are so good. Tex Tubs also on Willie Street.
Yeah,
tasty
that's
stuff.
Tex-Mex. It's amazing.
Yep.
My favorite Indian restaurant is Maharaja.
Yep.
Still my favorite from all the places I've been. But they do have Indian food here, so.
Right. The Indian food here is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
we shouldn't lament on that. But,
Right.
We liked all the local, small, non-franchise restaurants in the Madison area.
Right.
So those are just some things that we...
Right. But again, we've missed that no matter where we went outside of Madison. Right. So the next section is kind of some activities that we liked to do frequently when we were in Madison, and some of these are probably exist here. We just haven't really found them or gotten into them yet. So
they definitely exist here.
Right.
We just haven't quite gotten to where we partake, I suppose.
Right.
So one of the things I really miss is the arts. We live downtown, so the arts are everywhere.
Right.
The Overture Center was just a walk away.
Yep.
And so we went to a lot of concerts, orchestras, plays, ballets, operas, and that's something I really miss.
Right. And another one that's a little bit Madison-centric, but there's obviously other places in the United States where this is a thing, is riding my bike.
Yeah. I used to ride my bike to work and home.
I miss my bike so much. You can ride here. It's much more dangerous, but I'm going to get a bike eventually down here. I miss it so much, and it's such a central part of my daily activity is getting on my bike and going to work or whatever. I miss it so much.
But it's coming because it's super prevalent in Lima now.
Right.
So once things happen in Lima, it tends to kind of filter down.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get that in Arequipa.
No, and no one's going to do it here unless someone's riding their bike on the street. And I want to kind of be part of that movement. So.
Yep. The one thing I also miss is my yoga studio. I went to Earthview Yoga in Madison, and there's yoga here, and I found a studio that I think I might continue with. But I miss the people and the instructors. And my friend Molly went to the same studio, so it's just something I miss doing with my friend, but also the people at the studio,
Right.
and the type of yoga classes that they gave. So I miss that a lot.
Right. So speaking of people, our last section is kind of the people that we miss. Obviously, we've moved ourselves away from our loved ones, our friends and family, some of the characters that we'd run into in the community. And along with that, moving to a place that our native language is not the predominant language. And so it's been a process for us, and for several years now, we've been traveling to Latin America, and we spent a lot of time down here. And so our language skills get us by.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, it's we miss just the ease of being able to speak with anyone in the street and get the whole point across, have no miscommunications.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Clint's Spanish is much better. I understand a fair bit, so if someone's having an intelligent conversation, I can certainly follow along. But if I have something to contribute,
It's more difficult.
my speaking skills aren't there. So
Right.
having no language barrier so that I'm able to express my opinions and ideas is something I miss.
Right.
But that's on me, because I really have been slacking on taking the time to increase and grow my language skills.
Sure.
But it's still something I think that's missed.
Definitely goals that we have in the future is improving our Spanish skills. So
Right.
otherwise, I think you'll take the next one as well.
Yeah, I miss this, and this sounds strange to some people, but I actually really miss working in an office. I'm going to do a video about this later, but I telecommute. So I love and loved the people that I work with. They're amazing men and women, and I actually miss being able to work in the office with them because they're such great people. So telecommuting is really good in a lot of ways, but when you actually like the people you work with, I miss going into the office to work with them.
Right. And the obvious big one for me, and I think about it all the time, is my family. So my older brother's kids, my nieces and nephews, I think about them all the time. We spent a lot of time with them before we left. I hope that they can come down here and visit. I miss them terribly. They're at a really fun age to kind of expose them to different ideas and what's going on in the world, and we're far, far away from them now. And every once in a while we'll get on the phone with them, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they're always really funny because they're really awkward on the phone. But I miss them terribly. I think about them every day.
Yeah, I miss all of my friends and my family. But I think about my grandmas a lot because, grandmas, well, at least my grandmas, don't have a computer and internet to just hop on.
Right.
You can't video chat.
Right.
I do call my grandma Marie every single week on the same day to catch up and talk with her and make sure she's doing okay. But, it's not like you can just drive an hour or so
Right.
and see them.
Right. And then, just with my family more broadly, we're constantly, especially during the summer and the spring and fall times, constantly outside, having cookouts, someone's birthday, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever it is. My family always has activities, and there's always a big group of people, and it's always a lot of fun.
Way too much food.
Mom, come on. But no, it's something that I enjoyed so much, and Lily really became really warmed up to it.
Yep.
And just love being around my family. They're all just a bunch of goofballs.
Yeah, and my family didn't have quite as many events as Clint, but just miss hanging out with them,
Yeah.
And my dad has a boat,
Yeah.
so I really enjoyed going out on the river with him.
I haven't even seen his new boat.
I know.
I don't think.
No, you haven't.
I haven't been on it, certainly.
And I miss being able to just call up a friend or text a friend and meet them for dinner that same night.
Right.
So those are, I think, obviously, people is the biggest
Absolutely.
section of what I miss.
Yep. And so there's a few other things, but I think these are the most important ones that we kind of think of often. As time goes on, there will be substitutes here that will become normal for us, I'm sure. And then going back to the States will seem weird.
Yeah.
So these are just a couple things that we thought of, and otherwise,
We don't really miss too much.
No, not
and
really.
Again, like Clint said at the beginning of the video, some of these we really had to rack our brain
Right.
for, because excluding the people, we don't really think about it that often.
Right.
There's not really a whole lot that we miss and like really wish that we had, or
Right.
that we could do. It's just a lot of it is nostalgia.
Right. We have everything we need here,
For sure.
and life is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.